So today I'll be taking a look at the highest rated Digimon episodes according to IMDb. There are currently 10 series under the Digimon name, so we'll be looking at the first 5 series and what their highest rated episodes are, and then next week we'll look at the final 5 and see what their highest rated episodes are, as Digimon Beat Break actually finishes on the 19th of April. I'll also be changing the format to how I do these videos ever so slightly. So at the start of each series we talk about, I'm going to give a little bit of background information on the production of the series, as I want to start incorporating more behind the scenes information. Then I'll give an overview of what happens in the episode, and then my own opinion on the episode itself. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it helps with the channel, and I come out with videos every Friday. Let's get into it. Digimon Adventures Wizardmon's Gift 8.9. In 1999, a short film based on virtual pets called Digimon Adventures was released. Shortly after the film's storyboard was complete though, producers of Toei Animation were requesting it to be turned into a television series. And that's how we got Digimon Adventures. We start this episode with Kari giving herself up to Myotismon. Matt is beating himself up about it, and Sora tells him it's not his fault. Agumon and Tai are running to the centre where all the children are gathered in one place. Demi-Devimon tells Myotismon that they have Kai, so Demi-Devimon puts all the other kids to sleep and he flies off with Myotismon. However, Mimi wakes up. Agumon and Tai are still running and are confronted by a bunch of Bakimons. So Agumon digivolves into Greymon and easily takes them out. Then Mimi finds Tai and Greymon and they leave together. Elsewhere, Izzy is with Matt and TK's dad when he explains about what Digimon are and what they can do. TK and Joe are riding on the back of Zudomon when the Wizardmon wakes up, and with him he has a crest that he needs to give to Kari. Matt meets up with his dad and Izzy, and shortly followed by TK and Joe. Wizardmon heals Lilymon, who then tries to attack Wizardmon. However, TK steps in between them, saying that Wizardmon is good and he shows them the crest he's holding. They see Myotismon flying above and are about to confront him when they are stopped by other Digimon. Garurumon digivolves into Were-Garurumon and starts to fight with the bad Digimon. The other good Digimon said they will help and humans go to find Myotismon, but Wizardmon collapses and Matt's dad carries him. Kari is then confronted by Myotismon, who is holding Gatomon. Myotismon asks Gatomon if they know who she is, to which they deny knowing them. So Myotismon gets Demi-Devimon to pull Kari's hair, causing her pain, to which Gatomon shouts out Kari's name, putting themselves between Myotismon and Kari. Just as Myotismon is about to attack, Tentomon digivolves into Kabutoterumon. Kabutoterumon and Lilymon try to attack Myotismon, but he just blows their attacks away, causing a hole in the ceiling, and he escapes to the roof. While on the roof with the humans, Matt calls for Were-Garurumon to help, and he runs up the building. Kabutoterumon digivolves again, this time into Mega Kabutoterumon. He tries to attack, but is thrown into Were-Garurumon. Then Myotismon uses an attack to push him over the edge. Wizardmon attacks Myotismon and throws the crest to Kari, then he is attacked and taken down. Tai throws a Digivice to Kari and she catches it, but Demi-Devimon then steals the Digivice. Phantomon then goes to attack Greymon and Tai when Greymon digivolves into Metal Greymon. Metal Greymon fires rockets at Myotismon, which has no effect on him. The other Digimon try to attack as well, but is to no effect either. Myotismon goes to attack Kari when Patamon digivolves into Angemon and is able to hurt Myotismon with the Hand of Fate. Myotismon manages to fire an attack towards Kari, but Wizardmon jumps in to take the attack for her. Gatomon apologizes to Wizardmon, but tells them they don't need to apologize and glad they became friends. Kari's Digivice starts to activate and Demi-Devimon can't hold onto it and drops it. Tai catches it and throws it to Kari. Gatomon then digivolves into Angelwoman, then confronts Myotismon. Angelwoman uses her abilities to power up the other Digimon around her. They then lend her their attacks, she uses a celestial arrow to pierce through Myotismon, which seemingly defeats him. The area they were fighting on starts to collapse, so they quickly leave, and when everything has cleared, they are back to their normal forms. Wondering if they actually defeated Myotismon, as a fog has appeared above. That's where the episode ends. It was a good episode, very fast paced but easy to follow. Seeing the digivolved forms of the Digimon is what you want to see. Having two angel style Digimons, one male, one female, was very interesting, and the combined strength to defeat their foe was clever and made them all feel relevant. The only downside about this episode is that it is sandwiched, meaning that the previous episode sets this one up and the next episode they carry on as a fog has appeared and Myotismon comes back. Digimon Adventures 02, The Crest of Kindness, 8.6. In 2000, a sequel to the first Digimon Adventures was released, following a new group with the guidance of the old. This episode starts with the golden Digi-Egg being used on Vmon to make him into Megnamon. Then Uppermon and Poromon digivolve into Armadillomon and Hawkmon. Chimeramon bursts through a wall and Megnamon saves Davis and tells him he'll take out Chimeramon. Wormmon explains to Ken that Chimeramon won't listen to anyone. Then the group confronts Ken, explaining that the Digimon are living creatures and the Digiworld is real and should be shown love. Chimeramon and Megnamon are still fighting and are destroying the area around them, so Ken runs away and the other Digimon armor digivolve. Armadillomon armor digivolves to Digmon, Hawkmon armor digivolves into Holzmon, Gatomon armor digivolves into Neferismon, Patamon armor digivolves into Pegasusmon. Chimeramon and Megnamon take the fight to the outside, while the humans and Digimon also manage to escape before the base falls out of the sky. Megnamon is running out of power and is failing when he is caught by Chimeramon. Ken has escaped on the back of Devidramon. Wormmon then has a heart-to-heart with Ken, saying he is stuck by him. He starts to glow before pushing Ken over and giving his remaining power to Megnamon, giving him enough power to use a magma explosion on Chimeramon, defeating him and ultimately defeating Ken. Megnamon then reverts back to Demi-Vmon. Ken tells everyone he is going to delete the Digiworld, then reset it when he gets home. The others tell him that it is the real world, that the Digimon are alive and it is not a game. Ken starts to realise that every bad thing he has done in the digital world has had consequences, and how poorly he mistreated everyone. As this is happening, he is shedding the clothes he used while being a bad guy, reverting back to his normal clothes. They find Wormmon still alive, and the crest of kindness comes to Ken. Ken picks up Wormmon and apologises. They both say that they're each other's best friends, and Wormmon dies. Ken compares this to his brother's death and questions why does everyone leave him. He starts to walk away and Davis asks him to join them, but he just keeps walking. Kai, Izzy and Matt are sitting around when June approaches asking where her brother Davis is. Izzy says he'll go find them and walks away. Then the digiport starts to open and they all fall through. June asks for a lift home, but there is no room and is told to take the bus with Matt, who is forced to spend time with her. On the way home, they hear on the radio that Ken has returned home, and then we see Ken is sad after what has happened and laying on his bed. This episode is a clear divide between the older kids from the previous series and the newer kids from this one. Ty and Izzy even discuss at the end when they're travelling home that they're doing great in the Digimon world. Ken realising that the Digimon world is actually alive and it took losing Wormmon to realise was actually quite sad. However, I think he does later on have a redemption arc and becomes a good guy. Digimon Tamers, Lying Heart, 8.3. After the success of Digimon Adventures, Hiroyuki Kikudo and staff did not know what to do when the series finished. Chiaki J. Konaka was concerned that the portrayal of Digimon as kind-hearted creatures took away the monster-like spirit of Digimon. So Konaka wanted to explore the more primitive nature of Digimon, and unlike the previous series, when a Digimon dies and comes back as an egg, Konaka wanted death to be portrayed more realistic in a show for children, especially since the characters were risking their own lives. We start at the 4 Digimon Sovereign, where Calamon is falling into a large tower and becomes trapped. He sees a floating triangle and says that it feels like he's been here before, when he thinks he can escape if he somehow randomly learn an attack, which doesn't work. Next we have some of the human tamers crossing a sandy area on their Digimon as they are trying to find Takato and Calamon. Elsewhere, Susie, Takato and Henry are surrounded by Diginomes. They are trying to tell them something, but they don't speak in a language they understand, so they are unclear what they want. Susie, Takato and Henry are also looking for Calamon and show a picture to Lotmon. They explain that they know where Calamon is, however they don't want to go as they were created by the Sovereign and can be destroyed by them and don't want to fight anymore. Takato says he'll travel into the Sovereign with Terriermon, but Bizomon appears and is going to attack. Terriermon digivolves into Gargamon and then Matrix digivolves into Rapidmon. Then tries to attack Bizomon, but to no effect. Bizomon uses double impact on Rapidmon, taking him down. Takato shouts out for Guilmon and he hears Takato, then everyone else starts to hear him. They see a data stream, debating if they go through will it take it to them. So they make the decision and go through. Takato says Bizomon used to be Impmon and they used to be friends, but Bizomon says Impmon is a bad memory and they're no longer friends. The rest come through the data stream. They try to help with Bizomon, but he's too strong. Bizomon is about to attack again and Kibimon takes him off his bike, then uses Dragon Wheel to some success, but collapses. Bizomon recovers easily and takes out Growlmon with a punch. Leomon stops Bizomon before he can finish off Growlmon, but Bizomon hits a fatal blow on Leomon and he starts to disappear, but tells Jerry to be brave and she has a heart of a lion. His data is then absorbed by Bizomon, making him stronger. Takato starts to get angry and Growlmon has digivolved into War Growlmon. Calamon then sends a beam out of its head, which finds War Growlmon and the mark on his chest glows. Takato angrily tells him to digivolve into a Mega, which Growlmon does and becomes Mega Dremon. However, Takato has instant regret and shame for what he's turned his Digimon into. His Digivice then starts to crack and hits the floor and smashes into pieces. Once again, this episode seems to be a sandwiched one. We're placed halfway through an arc where they're looking for Calamon but have gone through struggles. They're a bunch of new humans from the previous 2 series. Takato seems to be struggling with the concept of the Digiworld being real and not wanting to form a strong bond with his Digimon, much like Ken did previously. However, his love for his Digimon does come through, which is clear when they can hear him calling out for him. Digimon Frontier, My Brother in Spirit 9.0. In 2002, Toei Animation announced the production of a 4th Digimon series. The series creator wanted to move away from the traditional model, taking inspiration from the biomerging in the previous season, and expanding that concept into the core mechanism of the show. Koji is walking through a dust storm and takes shelter in a ditch, then has a flashback to an earlier fight with Dustmon, when it is showed that he is a human Digimon fusion. Elsewhere, Takuya continues his search for Koji. Zoe, JP and Tommy returned to their arranged meeting place, waiting for Koji and Takuya. They debate whether to wait longer or move on, ultimately deciding to wait a little while longer. Bakumon and Niwon have also gone on a search mission. They are looking for Patamon. Dustmon is having flashbacks of being a human and it is revealed that Takuya is his brother, and remarks that he can't fight his brother again. Cherubimon tells Dustmon to remember his mother's pain and that his father and brother are to blame for it, as his father abandoned them for another family and took Koji with him. Dustmon then digivolves into Velgmon and flies off. Bakumon and Niwon find Patamon, who tells the two that they need to follow him, and they bump into Takuya. Zoe, JP and Tommy have decided instead of waiting they will go find the others, as they cannot contact them. Koji is confronted by Velgamon, and Koji uses a fusion evolution to become Beowulfmon and tells Velgamon that he knows he is human. But he won't respond to this and reverts back to Dustmon. Beowulfmon asks why he fights for evil, then Dustmon responds with the knowledge that they are actually twins and that their parents got divorced, saying that his mother is still alive. Dustmon then attacks, which causes Beowulfmon to revert back to his human form. Dustmon digivolves back into Velgamon and tries to kill Koji, but is saved at the last second by Takuya. Patamon tries to attack Velgamon, but has no effect on him. Koji refuses to fight his brother anymore, but Takuya tells him he needs to fight to save his brother from the evil in him. Takuya uses Fusion Evolution to become Aldermon, but is instantly unmatched. Koji decides to come back into the fight. He becomes Beowulfmon again. Velgamon then just throws Aldermon into Beowulfmon, but they recover quickly and fight together. Beowulfmon uses Frozen Hunter, and they see the Spirit of Darkness and manage to separate Koji from it, and bring him back to his human form. This one was interesting, watching these episodes in a way that you don't really see what came before or after. You just are sort of dropped into a story, and if an episode can basically tell you what the storyline is, while also building on the plot, it's a good indication of a good episode. Digimon Data Squad, The Power of Burst Mode, 8.6. In 2005, during the Jump Festa convention in Japan, a new Digimon series was announced, with advertisements showing a remodeled Agumon as the lead Digimon. The name of the series was later revealed in January 2006, with the character design coming a month later, and the final Digimon series produced in 4:3 ratio. Agumon and Marcus are back and are going to attack Belphemon, but they are blown back by a wind and they run away. Megami says even with Agumon they're still not strong enough, when the others tell her that they are the Data Squad and can win if they combine their powers. Then the Digimon get back into the fight, while Marcus and Agumon have gotten to the roof of the building. The Digimon all team up and use attacks, while Agumon and Marcus punch Belphemon to knock him down. Then Agumon double morphs Digivolves into Shine Greymon. They then all use various attacks and techniques to confuse Belphemon, and Shine Greymon uses Shining Blast to knock him down again. Kurata pokes his head out of Belphemon, then berates Marcus, saying he would have ruled both worlds if it wasn't for his father, then him. Then Kurata uses chains from Belphemon to absorb energy from the city, making Belphemon grow bigger in size and strength. He eats the space oscillation devices and can now rip through space-time continuum, which can cause both worlds to collide, destroying each other. Marcus says this is nothing new and the objective stays the same, to defeat him and save both worlds. The Digimon say they will deal with the chains and make an opening for Shine Greymon. He charges an attack and launches Glorious Burst. It lands directly but has no effect. Belphemon then wraps Bishop Chessmon and Rook Chessmon in his chains, causing them to revert back to Pawn Chessmon. Marcus confronts Kurata and Belphemon fires an attack at him, but the Digimon block it. Marcus tells Shine Greymon to give him his power, but Shine Greymon says it's the other way around, until they realise it's the combined power of each other's efforts. Marcus' Digivice lights up and Shine Greymon burst Digivolves into Shine Greymon Burst Mode. He fights off the chains and the claws of Belphemon, then lands a slash attack that has effect on Belphemon, but retaliates with a blast attack, but it is blocked. Shine Greymon approaches Belphemon and is holding Marcus while everyone is cheering him on. He punches Kurata, defeating both him and Belphemon. Kurata is still alive, however, and causes an explosion, but Kurata says it wasn't what he was trying to do, and is consumed by a blinding light. In the sky, they now see both the Digiworld and theirs together. We are now falling into that territory where the episodes are using the same sort of formula, meaning that there's the bad guy, can we defeat him? No, it's too hard. Oh wait, there's this Digi-evolution that will help us win. Oh, we won. Which, I mean, isn't bad. The fights are entertaining and it does make sense that they defeat the bad guy, and it would be the highest rated episode because it's a feel-good moment. Like the previous entries though, this has set up to the next part of the story, with the digital world now open and hanging over the human world. And there we have it, the first 5 Digimon series. What did you think? Did they deserve the highest rated of those series? And then join me next week as we look at the other 5 series of Digimon.